Hey, you guys. Welcome to Nosy Bystanders Live. I'm your host, Chief Nosy Bystander. If I look tired, I am. Okay. If I look tired, I kind of am. So thank you all for being here. I wanted to get into the news and Shanquella Robinson and get a little bit more into the updates that we got today from the State Department. So let me see who's all in the building. I'm going to pull up the article from the State Department. 1 second. Okay, and then I'm going to see who's in the building because you guys are all in the building, and I want to get into this because this is really quite telling. It's quite telling, and it's awful sad because a lot of us don't want her case to end up like Shanika Jenkins, if you remember that story, and you guys do remember that story of Kanika Jenkins and how she. Her case, it's not that it was unsolved, it was just this, it was the fact of the matter that she got no justice, and we don't want that to happen here to Shanquella. So let me see who's all in the building. Smash that like button on your way in or your way out, that's okay, no rush. And I want to get into this Rolling Stone article that was published today. Who's all up in who all up in here? Who all up in here? This from Unicorn says, "Hello, I'm early." She said, "I'm early. I'll be right back. I hope you came back." This from Nikki. Hello, Nikki. Hello, Stephanie. Hello, Angela D. Hello, Where's the Tea? Hello, Phyllis. Hello, Chocolate Bay. Hello, Tady. Hello, Tamika. Hello, Sanita. Hello, Sanita. Hello, Desiree. Hello, Shan. Hello, AC. Hello, Mysterious by Nature. Wow, everybody's in the building. What's up, Boss Bomb? Hello, Pia. Hello, Queen Shell. Hello, Destiny. From Facebook, said a friend that fought her is supposed to go live with the Shade Room on Instagram. I don't think that's real. I think it was spam, and it sucks. And I think it was somebody just trying to spam and placate, but I don't think it was real. If it is, that's crazy. But I don't think it is. What's up, you was? How you doing today? Hello, Anna J. How are you? Hello, Shavita. I know a lot of people always complain about me doing introductions, but first, I just want to explain it again for anybody who's new here. I introduce you guys because you guys make up the show. You do. You guys make up the show. You're the one who sends over the information. You allow me to use my analytical brain to dissect it, whether it be true, false, or some fake news. So I appreciate you guys. And I just want to let you guys know that you're here and I appreciate you. Okay. Hello, Tess. Hello, Candy. Candy said her dad is on Facebook Live now. Child, send the link. Send the link. Hold on 1 second. We can get to that. We can get to this article after that. So, on North Carolina, the beat. You guys give me 2 seconds. Let me pull it up, okay? I don't know how I'm going to find it, but I'm going to do my best. Oh, I don't, because I've never heard of that before. Oh, here it is. Okay. Is this it? Oh, they are live. Let's go. We're gonna. But I know. Hold on 1 second, you guys. Oh, I can't rewind it. Oh, I guess I can't. I got to start it from where it is. So I hope you guys ready. We're gonna jump right into it, okay? Because there's nothing else I can do. Um, I can't rewind it because it's live. So you're just gonna have to trust me on this one. Okay, I got it up. I ain't get no snack. Okay, dang. Okay, dang. I didn't get a snack. Okay, we'll just have to hit play. All right. Hello, Aura.
Your parents ain't reached out to me. She did not have to go through this.
She did not have to go through this. Shanquella did not deserve this. She did not deserve this. I can't wrap my head around the fact that they left Mexico. Oh, new, and you know.
And you told her mom vacation.
That it was no
y'all told her mama and her sister right in their face there was no altercation in that house. That's exactly what y'all said.
Sure is.
All y'all statements, what y'all said.
The FBI is on them left and right. So if you think you're hiding at your mama house, Dejanay, if you think you're hiding, Khalib, you think you're hiding Winnie, if you think you're hiding Nazir, if you think you're hiding Elise, the FBI is on you. And you're going to have to get into the interrogation room and you're going to have to tell what happened. And the fact that y'all still to this day ain't even tried to call this family and say, Miss Robinson, Mr. Robinson, I lied. I was scared. I ain't know what to do. We should have broke it up. I ain't know what to do. And for every parent that's sitting up here and you know your child done killed somebody, you should be ashamed of yourself. That you will harbor a fugitive. That you would try to hide your child. That you wouldn't even reach out to a mother, the mother, father, the father.
Okay, let me just pause it right there. He's incorrect. They're not fugitives because they have not been charged with anything. So he should be really careful when he's getting animated in his emotions and tying it up with salacious, slanderous statements like that. They are not fugitives. I want to make that abundantly clear. Okay, so he has to be really careful. Don't get too emotionally tied to a story that you start saying things that could lead you into a civil suit. Don't turn into Tasha K. Okay, let me hit play.
Shanquella ain't hurt nobody. Everybody loved her. Just because y'all had hate and bitter in your heart, you didn't have to take out what you was going through in your anger and your hatred and your jealousy and your envy on her. You're ugly on the outside and you're ugly.
This is a blogger, and that is Shanquella's father, for anybody who just joined us.
On the inside. And you ain't that these Judases left your daughter for dead. And then you got Nazir coming on. Let me ask you this. The part that you did here, Mr. Bernard, did you even believe any of what he said, what he was saying?
Yeah. You trust and believe me, every last one of y'all. Y'all would have stayed there at that hospital down there with my daughter. I would have made sure y'all got back here. You wouldn't have been staying in New Mexico. Hello? You would have got back here. You would not have stayed down there. Hello? That would have meant a whole lot to me, knowing that you stayed down there with my daughter till I got there or we got there.
Now, here's the problem. Here's the problem with this blogger, Gerald Jackson. Let me tell you something about him. He's going to get himself into a world of legal trouble. He is going to get himself into I could see it a mile away. He is going to get himself into a world of legal trouble. What he is engaging in is slander. He is engaging, not the father. The father is just unbeknownst to anything. It is this blogger who is currently engaging in slander, and he is going to get himself sued. Unless Nazir possesses a time machine, there is no physical way Nazir would have been able to be a part of that altercation whatsoever. So the fact that this man is here slandering somebody who didn't show up until after the fact is he's going to get himself sued. And this is scary. And this is why you have to be completely objective and you have to remain completely unbiased. These stories are hard to tell, but you're going to have to tell them as a legitimate storyteller and not someone who is emotionally animated. He's doing this entire story a world of disservice because now Gerald has emotionally connected himself into a story where he has no business doing so. And because he did that, he's going to be putting out a lot of slanderous statements. That's wild.
We all would have been getting back on that plane together. But y'all didn't do that. Y'all left her. Y'all left her there. Y'all left her there.
So dirty and so low down that this father and his brother had to get online and find funeral homes and people.
And her funeral is paid for me to bury her in the next 2 days.
let me while we're talking about her funeral, let me say this. Shanquella's funeral is this Saturday. Okay, it is this Saturday, November the 19th. The wait will be 11 to 12, and the funeral is from 12 to 1 at Macedonia Baptist Church, 1300 Hatteras Avenue, Charlotte. Let me say that again. Her funeral is this Saturday, November 19th. Charlotte, show up. Show up. Stand with this family. Show up. Show up. It's Saturday, November 19th, from 11 to 12 is the viewing, and the funeral is from 12 to 1, Macedonia Baptist Church, 1300 Hatteras Avenue in Charlotte. Mr. Bernard, Khalil brought the girl that was in the video assaulting your daughter and another girl to the house. And Shanquella's sister, has stated that now let me ask you this before I get to this. Had you, before the autopsy came back, had you heard that there was a fight or that an altercation was going on over there before you found out everything now that you know now?
Yeah, her friend, my daughter's friend did call me who have my number, who know how much I care about my daughter.
Right.
They did call and say it was a fight in the house, but they wasn't sure. But then the alcohol story came out.
Right.
So when the alcohol story came out, okay, my mind got to wonder who is true, who's true on what. So
right. So once
I just asked God, I said, God, I pray that you give me justice. I asked God to, I pray. I said, God, just let me know what really happened over there. Pull the covers and show me. Because she gone now, Lord. She gone. But show me what happened. Where I can stand for justice for her, Lord.
Yeah. So
and that's when you came in, and that's for some kind of reason you came in the picture. You came in the picture. I kept praying. And God began to move and start moving in his time and start unraveling stuff.
Yeah.
And this is where we at now.
Yeah. Mr. Bernard, so you had heard about the fight. You heard there was a fight. So Khalil had brought Dejanay, the girl in the video that we see attacking your daughter, and he brought another girl, Winter Donovan, over to the house. And that's when they were asked about the altercation. But they denied the altercation, even though one of them, who we now know, Dejanay Jackson, was in a video assaulting your daughter Shanquella, had the nerve to lie to y'all again in your face, saying that it was alcohol poisoning. So did they really say that was alcohol poisoning? And
that's what her mom said. That what the words came out their mouth. They were playing a game, drinking. That was the statement they made to her mom and her sister, or everybody who was around over her sister's house, because they was asking questions.
Right.
So that's what they told. And so I guess, that what her mom, sister, everybody went with until I got the information. Because that alcohol poison did not sound right for me. No, not at all.
Right.
No, she don't drink like that. I know that for a fact.
Right. So now once the autopsy came back, okay, and it came back that your daughter was beaten, right? Khalil was nowhere to be found. He didn't come back around. He didn't pick up his phone.
I'm sorry. This has got to be the most disgusting interview I have ever witnessed as a person who has interviewed a numerous amount of people on stories like this. This is probably the most disgusting thing I've ever witnessed in my life. Not only has this interviewer, Gerald, had these preconceived notions of what took place, he's also feeding them back to the victim's father as though they were to be true. It's it's deplorable. It's very much deplorable. The way that he is trying to feed the narrative. So, they're lying. How would he know that? Like, you can't he, to Shanquella's family, I would ask you to please, if you're going to conduct any more interviews, sit down with seasoned journalists. I'm not one. I know how to conduct an interview. I am not a seasoned journalist, but sit down with seasoned journalists with publications like Rolling Stone magazine, Reuters, Guardian, New York Times. Do not sit down with people like this, because what they're doing is they're shaping the way the story is going to be told. And once the family does receive justice, it may not be good enough for them because they have these preconceived notions already given to them. Does that make sense? When the family finally does get justice, because they are being fed information that cannot be corroborated. This man has yet to say any allegedly. I saw that somebody said in the chat. No, he never said allegedly. So now he's himself not prepared. None of these questions have been prepared at all. He hasn't even taken the time out to put together the proper timeline in order to be able to share that with the father. This is horrible. This is probably the worst interview I've ever watched, but we're going to continue watching it.
Is that what happened? That he just disappeared once the truth came out in the autopsy?
He went off the radar. He went off the radar from what I was told. All of them went off the radar. I guess once he got out there on social media or Twitter or Facebook, how they communicate. Like I said, I don't be out there like that. Right. That's not that's not me. I'm old school. It's in God's hands. Yeah. I'm gonna let God deal with it.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'm gonna let God deal with it, and He's dealing with it. So
absolutely.
She will get her justice. My daughter will get her justice. She will not die in vain. Each and every one of you all, whatever the law says, that's what I'm going with, or you're gonna add a little more extra.
That's a great question. Yeah, it could. It definitely could. So what Gerald Jackson is doing, he's feeding his own preconceived notions of the case to the victim's family. And now that the victim's family has this umbrella approach, right? Like, they're thinking the things that Gerald is saying has been corroborated. They have not. These are suppositions, and Gerald should let them be known. Like, in my opinion, this is what I think occurred. Based off the timeline, I think this might have occurred, but we can't tell. Let's talk about what we do know. So he's not telling the father that. So the father could, in turn, once he sits down with investigators initially, he's going to start telling the investigators these preconceived notions from Gerald, which will lead the police on wild goose chases. They're going to end up sitting down talking to people who have nothing to do with the case, because the investigators are going to believe the father, like, okay, you heard this? Okay, we're going to go follow that lead. And it leads nowhere. He's giving him preconceived notions of what Gerald believes occurred in this story. And none of things that Gerald has stated or even factual. Specifically talking about Nazir. You can talk about, why didn't Nazir notice the contusions on her face? Why didn't he do this? You can argue those till you're blue in the face. It doesn't matter. Nazir was not there when that altercation occurred, period. Could he be charged with something else, right? Like attempting to conceal a crime or fleeing a crime scene or what have you? Yeah, he could. But could he ever be charged with her assault? No, because he wasn't there. He doesn't have a time machine. And it's the simple fact that because Gerald failed to put together the timeline of the story, he has included a individual who wasn't there, and now he could be putting Nazir's freedom at risk. He could also be putting his finances at risk because he has yet to say allegedly. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? It's wild. I'm going to get some of your comments and then I'm going to hit play. This is from Minnesota. Mandy says, can they even be charged here since the criminal? Yes, we have a relationship with Mexico, you guys. So the US or Mexico could either take the case. We have that relationship with them. Now, if this case occurred somewhere in like China or somewhere in like Russia, we don't have extradition treaties with those nations. So if the crime happens there, there's nothing the US could do, but the US could take this case, right? Just on the grounds of the nature of our relationship and the fact that the victim is a US citizen. So yes and yes, okay? So keep that in the back of your head. This is from Miss Shauna says, her parents are the older generation in interviews taking advantage that to get their limelight. The parents need proper representation to tell them to speak of people like this. Precisely. This from Just Chrissy says, no one can tell investigators nothing. They look for evidence. It doesn't matter. The father tells them he wasn't there. It's hearsay. We also don't know either. We don't know either for a fact that he wasn't there. We do know that. We do know that. We do know that. Do you know how we know that? Just a quick question. Do you know how we know that? Because he produced an itinerary. That is what was produced, an itinerary. We also know when the altercation, now we're not saying this is the altercation in that fight video was the one that was like kind of the death blow. We're not saying that, but we do know when the altercation began, and it was in the morning. You know how we know it was in the morning? Because we have eyeballs and we can see the sun. It doesn't take an investigator to put together a timeline. What it does by putting together a timeline, it allows anyone, you, me, him, the moon, the sun, and the stars, it allows us to be able to get closer to figuring out what the truth is. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay? So we do know that. Again, I'm starting to believe some of you in the comments think time machines are real. They're not. At least not in this lifetime. So unless Nazir knows something that particle physicists don't, you might have to keep that comment to yourself. Okay, let's get back into this video.
You know,
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
whatever the law say, because all y'all was there, all y'all was accessory to the whatever y'all did to her, and y'all know it was wrong. Y'all know it was wrong to the utmost. Y'all know it was wrong. Y'all know. I don't know how y'all can sit here and think she got a mother and a father.
Bedroom to the living room. I mean, I'm just trying to understand. And this Nazir guy, he told me on the phone call, Mr. Bernard, that me and him had before he went live the other night, and I played it on here. He said that he got there 2:16. Then he came back on the live and said he got there 3 p.m. something, and then he said he was by 4:26. He was by the pool saying, "Quella, get up." So when you got there and you started CPR, and the death certificate and the autopsy say she died 15 minutes after her injury, which was at 3 p.m. So that means you did CPR on her and left her where she was.
I find that so hilarious. I find that so hilarious that most people can't listen. If you've been doing news like us for this long, you'll understand how to read an autopsy. Medical examiners don't just examine the body, they also ask questions. I don't know if you guys knew that or not. I don't know, most people don't, but here's what medical examiners do. They also ask questions. They get the police to ask those questions to the people in the surrounding area or the people who are at the scene. And the medical examiner takes the anecdotal evidence from the witnesses plus the examination of the body, and in turn, it creates the autopsy report. I don't think he knows that. But that is exactly how medical examiners conclude their report. It is not just examining a body and taking wild guesses. They are doing both. They're playing the role of both police officer and detective. And those two reports come together, and then there you have an autopsy. So if the medical examiner is taking the examination of her body as well as the accounts from the police, And the police are saying, well, we talked to the kids and they said she got really sick. So they called the doctor, and then the doctor got there and she died. She died within 15 minutes of her calling a doctor. Or did Gerald not know that? Did he not know that? Because she passed away 15 minutes after the coroner had called her time of death doesn't mean the injuries occurred 15 minutes before she died. If she was beaten up in the morning time and somehow by the grace of God was able to continuously stay alive until the doctor got there and she passed away, then her body was still warm. And the medical examiner can only go based off of when she stopped breathing, which was in 15 minutes of a physician looking at her. That's how that works. It does not mean that Nazir had anything to do when her initial injuries were implemented. The reason why we do it so well over here is because we keep that information readily available. We know those things, but he doesn't. So now he's only going based off of what he read versus off of what he knows. Okay? I just want you guys to know that as well, because now you have that in your head, right? Now you're going to be looking at the story a little bit differently. Because she died within 15 minutes of the doctor seeing her, because remember, doctors can't call your death. Only a coroner can. And the coroner arriving, it means that it's possible that she had sustained her injuries for a long period of time, and somehow she just kept staying alive. That's all that means. That's all that means. That is all that means. When you lay on that slab and that medical examiner takes your body temperature, he determines when you died. But it's also based off of the reports from the police. So I just want you guys to know that as well, okay? So that's the truth. That's the truth. Let me get some of your comments and I'm gonna hit play. This is from Capricorn Diva. He said yesterday he doesn't care what y'all say. Nasir is guilty and definitely has something to do with it. So yeah, his interview is yeah, you're right. So child, I almost forgot to smash that like button. Thank you, Mikia. Thank you very much. This is from Breeze. Breeze says two things that appear to be true. Nazir was not there during the beating of Dejanay, and Dejanay is not trans. Everything else, question mark. Other than Shanquella's passing and assault. Breeze, thank you. Thank you. I knew you knew that, Kamika. Aren't you in the medical field? Yes. He was, thank you. He was not there. He wasn't there. He wasn't there. So I want to get back to this interview because I already know he's about to rattle off a bunch of lies. And I'm just about sick of Gerald. Okay, so let me hit play.
And then you went by the pool and said, hey, Koala, get up, knowing she was dead. I mean, but the thing about it is he's a compulsive liar, Mr. Bernard, and he can't be trusted.
Did he really just say that? Blew the smoke out my mouth. Did he really just say that? Did he really just say that? Did he really just say that she was already passed away? And then in the same breath said that the medical examiner called her death within 15 minutes of arriving? He's creating his own contradictions. And the language he's using in front of this girl's father. Well, she was already dead. Why would you say that? Why would you say that? Don't you have any decorum about you? It's disgusting. It's his language, you guys. It's disgusting. It's deplorable. It is the most disgusting, egregious thing I've ever watched on television. He really just said dead in front of this girl's father. Because he's so adamant. Like we talked about yesterday. There was a girl in the live chat who was just so sure that Nazir was there. And I told her, I said, you can't bend the facts to fit your hypothesis. You can't do that. And this is probably where she's getting that notion from. People like him being wildly inaccurate and quite disrespectful to a deceased girl's father that he's interviewing, because it's starting to feel like the Gerald show. And I have yet to really hear from her father. There's not much There is not much you can have a conversation about with him because he was not there. Her father wasn't there. So all you're doing is pulling out these gruesome details in front of her father, who has to go and witness her in 2 days. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? It's these fake pretend journalists that really grind my gears. They really do. They really grind my gears because it's just the level of unprofessionalism completely from this entire interview that I don't even know if I'm going to be able to stomach the rest of it. Like, seriously. Does he not hear himself? He's embarrassing. He's an embarrassment to people who investigate stories. And he's a complete embarrassment. I'm sorry. I don't know this man, but he's an embarrassment. How dare you have that type of language? Don't you know how to correct yourself? And I really hope he doesn't attend her funeral acting buck wild as he is. I would not want him anywhere near my daughter's body. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. His language is disgusting. The way that he's feeding information to her father is disgusting. The way that he is trying to bend the narrative to fit his own hypothesis is disgusting. The way that he is trying to implement an innocent individual is disgusting. And I hope Nazir sues him completely. I hope he does. It's wild. It's wild. It's wild. Let me just get back to the video.
And I dissected the video, and I proved that Nazir Wiggins is a liar, and he is as much responsible and guilty as the rest of them, and they need to be held accountable. Now, I mean,
are you did he just accuse an innocent person of murder? As a matter of fact? So when Shanquella receives justice and the justice system doesn't charge Nazir, then what? Then you're going to have her family thinking that they didn't really receive justice? And you're going to have people tracking this man for the rest of his life out to be a murderer? Gerald? I'm disgusted by everything that I had just witnessed. And we're not even done yet because we're going to have to start from the beginning because we jumped in the last 10 minutes. I am so disgusted. I am so disgusted. I am so disgusted. I am so disgusted that he even fixed his lips to say something like that. And I hope that he's wrong. Or I'm sorry, I hope that he's right. Wow.
If he say he did CPR, then they say it was a medic in the house. So that medic don't know how to do CPR.
That's
you know.
Hello.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Bernard, one last question. The FBI.
You know, me or her mom.
I'm going to get it to where we were at. The live stream just ended. Let it load. While it's loading, man, I'm so bewildered. I'm so bewildered. I just cannot believe this. I'm letting the live stream load. Let me reload it. Wow. I'm so shocked. I'm so shocked. I am like, I've never been this shocked before in all of my life. Like, wow.
I'm just trying to understand. And this Nazir guy, he told me on the phone call, Mr. Bernard, that many
justice will be done for her.
yes,
Justice
absolutely,
will be done.
absolutely.
And I will know our Lord that we serve will come through for me.
Yes, he will.
The whole world, the whole nation, all y'all prayers, which I don't know none of you all out here. But I know y'all prayers and y'all, I know y'all prayers is the one that got me standing,
Whew. Yes.
standing strong as I'm standing. I
Thank
can't
you.
even sleep, can't even hardly eat, you know.
Mr.
It's a big
Bernard.
hurt feeling.
Yeah.
It's a really big hurt feeling.
Yes, it is.
Let me answer this question real quick, Mike. You're obviously new here. Welcome. You don't have to name call. I don't mind being called a clown. I'm going to tell you exactly why Nazir was not in that house during that altercation. Okay? I'll tell you exactly why. Because the last I checked, Nazir was not a particle physicist. He did not study quantum entanglement. He does not know anything about how to split an atom, which means he probably doesn't have access to a time machine. You can believe, right? That umbrella approach, believe whatever it is you like to believe, but you can't change physics. He was not there when that fight video was made. No matter how much you would like to believe that, it's not true. You cannot devoid yourself of reality simply because you want something to be what it is. It's not. He wasn't there because he doesn't have a time machine. I don't know how hard that is to conceptualize. I don't know how else to break it down to you. I don't know if you're reading way too many sci-fi novels, but I promise you, Nazir does not own a time machine. He cannot just suspend himself through animation to be somewhere in the blink of an eye. He can't do it. And if you can prove it, tell us how. Tell us how Nazir has been hiding a time machine from all of humanity. I'm begging you. Okay? Thank you. Right? I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you're not getting it. I like prove go to Nazir's house, take a snap a picture and show us the time machine. I want to see it. I want to see it. I want to see it so desperately that I couldn't handle it. I want to send it to my friends who are physicists and tell them that this young boy from Charlotte, North Carolina, it has in his possession a time machine. He's been using it to just hang out in Cancun and Cabo San Lucas. I want to tell them that. Okay? He doesn't have one. Give it a rest. Okay? Give it a rest. You're right. He wasn't there and they told him. Do you also know why we know that's true? Because he said the same story her mother said, almost down to the same words. Period. It's not hard. It's not a hard thing to conceptualize that somebody just wasn't there. He just wasn't there. What's up, St. Hudson? Thank you for the super chat. Says, please check Twitter. Why would they pick this interview? Why? Who's they? You said, why would they pick the interview? Who's they? You mean Gerald? Why would he pick this in? I don't know. I think that they said that he's close friends to the Charlotte area. He's like a local blogger that everyone knows. I think that's why the father picked this. But the father, I don't think the father and the mother are together. I think they're separated. So maybe the father. I don't know. I don't know why they picked it. I don't. I don't. And I don't know where I'm supposed to check Twitter. check on my phone. Hold on one second. What's well, my Twitter DMs are disgusting. Okay, hold on one second. I'm checking, you guys. Hold on. Okay. Okay. I don't see anything on Twitter, so please tell me what just tell me what I'm supposed to be looking for. Just don't say look search Twitter. Just say Steph, here's this. Just tell me what it is. I don't know what it is. Where's she supposed to check to? I don't know. I don't know. I just want you to tell me what's on Twitter. Just tell me what is it? Is it a meme? Okay. While we wait for that, I want to get some of your comments and then I want to go back to this video. But again, you guys, we're gonna finish the video, but we're gonna watch the full clip because we have another show tonight. I don't know if you guys know this, but we have 2 shows tonight. One here on YouTube. Okay, you don't have to send super chats. I can see your comments, Saint, but I appreciate that. Thank you. You said, hold on. You said check Twitter. Yes, I sent it to you. You tagged me in it. What is it? You mean this long thread? There's a story about 25 years ago, Rose went to Mexico. I don't know what your Twitter handle is, Saint. Is it Saint Hudson? Is that your Twitter handle? I don't know what it is. I'm sorry. You're just gonna have to retag me in it. I don't know what it is. This entire thread? You mean is it this thread? I don't know. I don't know what she tagged me in. It's people are just saying that he's an unreliable source. Exactly. He didn't know her injuries were that bad. Who didn't know? Who didn't? You know what? That's okay. I'll read the thread when we're done. The thread was basically saying that this person is an unreliable source. Listen, I could have. I ain't never seen him before, and I could have told you that. Okay, it didn't take there's 750 you in the building. It don't take a criminal justice, whatever, particle physicist from, rocket scientist from Harvard to realize this guy is not to be trusted. Okay, he seems off his rocker. He seems like he's more emotionally invested in it than he should be, which is concerning because you're reporting a story, right? And you can still advocate while you report, but what he's doing is he's crossing a line I don't like. This from Christina. She said, allegedly, the female who was fighting her was bragging about the fight and got back to the family. So so why wouldn't they tell Nazir when they got there? I think they told him they didn't think she would pass away. Maybe, but that's a supposition. I guess we can hold on to that. It is a good supposition, but it's not fact. So what you're proposing isn't true, but it's definitely something to think about. This from Shay says, I feel like all of this is irrelevant, you guys. Who cares about Gerald's life? I do, because, and let me tell you why it's important, Shay. It is relevant. It's very relevant because he is sharing a dangerous narrative. He is making these statements as though they are fact. We can't even get the State Department to take the case. And he is pretending, I guess, that he knows exactly what happened as though he was there. He was not. That's dangerous. It's dangerous for news. It's dangerous for stories. It's dangerous for the victims and their families. When you have these wild accusations going around, then you have your families and investigators chasing these wild stories that don't exist. It is. We care. I care. You don't have to care, but I care. I care about that. I'm heavily engaged in news. I care about accuracy. I do. And how many people are believing it. You see the people that come into the chat. They're saying all these wild things. I'm like, it's not true. It's not even real. You have people in my live chat trying to bend the laws of fucking nature to make someone be somewhere they're not. And because of him, we do care. We care. I care. Think about that for a second. You have people trying to bend the laws of nature for something to be true. You have to care about accuracy. It's important. It's important. Period. And then you have crazy people out here conducting these wild, presumptive interviews, making people believe stuff that's not real or corroborated or fact-checked. That's important. Like, come on. Like, come on. It may not be important to you, but it's important to her family. Because of the investigators rule out some people, they're like, there's no evidence that this person did it. This crackpot went ahead and told everybody that there are all of these criminals just running around. And now her family may not feel like they're going to get justice, even if they do. That's why it's important to be accurate. Period. We don't all know who was literally in that room during that altercation. 2 of them could have been laying on the beach the whole time. We don't know that. We don't know that. Okay? We don't. Do you know that? I don't know that. I don't know if half of them were recording her and the other half were getting margaritas all the way down the coast in Cabo. We don't know that. And they came back and was like, what's going on? We don't know that. Accuracy is important. It's important to be balanced and fair. Okay? And I'm not trying to sit here and grill you guys, but you cannot, I say this all the time on every story I cover, you cannot live in delusion and be here and expect me to placate to your delusions. I'm not placating to people's delusions. You're either going to get on the ball and be like, Steph, let's analyze this and figure out what's going on because we could help, or you just go somewhere and be delusional. Okay? Okay, just be somewhere and be delusional. This from Trevor says, a fight gone wrong from which birthday guy arrived that resulted in others telling him it's alcohol poisoning, reacted from there. Correct, Trevor. Correct. Absolutely correct. This is from Queen says, how many y'all time benders how many y'all time benders want to be accused of a crime you weren't even around to witness? That's what I'm saying, Quan. That's what I'm saying. I mean, like, I've seen people make excuses like, oh, she didn't know. Okay. Oh, she found out later. Okay. I've never seen people out here trying to bend time. Okay. I got a friend who's an astrophysicist, very good friend of mine. I'm going to tell him that I got people out here trying to bend time. He is going to have a field day. He's going to have a field day with this. He's like, no, how are they trying to do that? They're trying to make a person be somewhere they can't physically be. This from Navo. Navo says, Winter slammed her, not Shanquella. You don't know that, Navo. You don't know that. And I'm not saying that Winter didn't, but that statement, the reason why I'm not saying the full statement is because I'm not going to get sued. So you're saying allegedly Winter broke her. And allegedly Winter slammed her. No, Winter slammed her. Winter slammed who? I think it might be a typo there. There might be a typo there. There you go. Allegedly Winter broke her neck. And allegedly Winter slammed her, not whatever her name is. Allegedly. We don't know that. But allegedly she did. And I'll take that. Okay. This one, Crystal. Crystal's nosy. Why are you addressing the fact that you don't know how they determine time of death? You just said, this is what I just said, apparently. You just said they will take what people say into consideration. No, they just go off body tissue and decomposition. Yes, it's both. I don't know if you know that or not. So let me explain to you how time of death is called, right? In a crime scene, not in a hospital, because that's something different. So the role of a medical examiner is to tell the story of what happened. That's the role of a medical examiner. If you don't believe me, go ask Dr. G. She's a medical examiner out of Florida. I think she's retired now, but she's like the most famous one. She's done every single famous dead person in Florida. Okay, so go talk to Dr. G. But she also has a show that reruns every single day on True TV. And she tells you the way that we determine how the person died is two things. We examine the body, and then we get the police report from the police. And we get what everyone is saying, right? So they're telling the time of death, right? Based off of examining the body, but also based off of the people who are witnessing it. That's how they do that. So if the people who are there, right, say that Shanquella stopped breathing, so we called the doctor. The doctor gets there, said, she's dead, right? Doctor arrives 15 minutes later, she's dead. Call the medical examiner. Medical examiner gets there, says, what time did you think she stopped breathing? Doctor says 3:15. For example, okay? The medical examiner arrives there at 3:30. He's like, okay, time of death, 3:15. She died within 15 minutes of the doctor and myself calling her time of death, as well as the individuals who were here who stated she stopped breathing roughly around 3 o'clock, right? I'm going to take her body temp. So you see how those two things come together to make the time of death accurate for a medical examiner? There you go. I can't explain it any better than that. So people are trying to state, and let me just make this clear. People are trying to state that Nazir was there, right? Somehow they're bending time. So let's just play around with that. They're bending time to put him there, right? Because they said she died within 15 minutes of you guys calling the doctor. So he had to have been there. The fight had to happen within 15 minutes. And Nazir was there if she died at 3:15, right? Wrong. It's when she died. It's not when the altercation occurred. She could have been in pain from the moment that fight occurred all the way up until she stopped breathing at 3:15. For example, I don't know what time her cause of death is. I got to look at it. So because she died within 15 minutes, they're saying it's within 15 minutes of her injuries. That's not true. It's only just within 15 minutes of when she stopped breathing. She could have sustained those injuries at the time of the fight, which I believe was sometime in the morning, roughly around 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. And I think she just waited it. I think her body was just trying to fight it out for all those hours. That's my supposition, which is more true than you guys trying to bend time, because we have the actual video of them fighting with the sun rising. Literally. That fight happened in the morning, you guys. It happened in the morning. Period. You can't bend time. Time benders, please stop. You can't make Nazir be somewhere he wasn't. Please stop that. And you can't try to push that fight anytime forward in the afternoon. Simply because the sun is in that video. It's that simple. It's not hard. It's not hard. I promise y'all, it's not hard. It's from Victoria. Victoria says, he left because he was in the house with killers. Everyone left. No one could bring the body back. The video didn't drop till after they returned. Thank you, Victoria. Thank you. This is from Tawana. What's up, Tawana? From Facebook. Says, none of us know exactly what happened, to be honest. We're listening to everyone trying to figure it out. The truth will come out. Thank you. But what we may not know everything, and that's a really good statement, Tawana. We may not know everything, but what we do know, we know. Right? What we do know, we know. We know what time Nazir arrived. We know that fight took place in the morning. We can see the sun. And what I caught yesterday that someone stated in the comments, they're wearing bedclothes and bonnets. Not to say that women don't wear those all day, but it's pretty indicative of the morning time. and the son. We don't know who was all in that room because you only can see partially the room. You really only see the fight. You only see one person filming and another person adjacent to him filming, but it doesn't include all of the party goers. So we don't even know if other people were just on the beach or jet skiing. We don't know what everyone else was doing. So those are things we don't know. But what we do know is when one of the party goers arrived, when that fight took place, and the stories that they told the mother, because the mother published that story, right? She said that they told me it was alcohol poisoning. Those are things we do know, okay? He did. It's on his Instagram. It's in his highlighted stories. I encourage you to go check it out. This from Shay says, TJ, this is not for me. I'm sorry. This from Mike. What's up, Mike? Mike says, you try to people like you talk. I think you meant talk. You talk to people like we're stupid. If you feel that, you shouldn't. He should feel that. We know the fight was in the morning. Nazir should have got the cops. Like, why would he get the cops? Why would he get the cops if you arrive somewhere and your friends are like, oh man, Susie's drunk. She's out of it. Susie's out of it. Why would I call the cops? What are they gonna do? How would he know that? He's not a doctor. Tell me. He's a time traveling doctor. You guys, look, we're going to be live on the Roku network right now. I will see you guys. Hold on one second. Let me just triple check because I might be wrong. Let me triple check and I'll put a link in the comments. Hold on, y'all. I'm slow. I'm just saying she's a time traveling doctor. Ooh-wee. I'm just saying, y'all, or he's a time traveling doctor. Y'all, the way y'all be putting stuff together, I'll just be like, ooh, honey, hold on. It's 8 p.m. Oh, no, we have time. Okay, we got time. Okay, I thought we had time. Let me just put the link in here anyways, because you guys probably want to see it. Hold on. So we're going to be live on the Roku network in about 1 hour. And let me get you guys the link. It's free, so don't worry. And if you don't have a Roku device, that's okay. Just please join from your smartphones. I want to get back into the rest of this video because you guys, we got a lot more to go through. So let me pull up the link so you guys have it. I'll put in the chat. There you go. We'll be there in 1 hour. Okay, so let's get back to the video. I'm gonna read one more comment. This from Yvette. What's up, Yvette? Says, like I said, when the girl fighting in the video surface, she will sing like a bird. She is not going to want to be the face of the crime. She will make sure to spread the blame around. That's right. And if that video does exist, again, that's only speculative that there's a second video. But based off the notion that they even filmed a fight, I believe that second video does exist. I believe there's probably tons of them. I totally wholeheartedly believe there are tons of videos. I believe it. I believe it. Okay, let me get to Mike. Here's Mike. Says, no, you just keep saying he's a time traveling doctor. I already agreed with you. He wasn't there for the fight. Nosy, come on. Okay. So why do you think that he would know she's dying? How would he know? I've never seen a dying person. My great granddaddy, right? So if I've never seen someone quote unquote dying, how would I know that? How would he know that they did that to her? If he arrived after the fact and they told him, oh, she's just drunk, how would he know she's dying? And how would he know that that she wasn't drunk? And how would he know that they had accosted her? How would he know that? Is he mind reader too? I mean, I'm not trying to talk to anybody stupid. I'm really not. I'm just trying to say, help me, help you, help me, help you. What do you want me to do? Like, the fact that everyone thinks that this is how this man is supposed to think is wild to me. It's so wild. Well, I would have did this. That's what you would have did. You. You, not him. Or do you all think that we all go to sleep at night, unzip our skin, and the other person puts it on and shares it? We don't do that. He is a different person. How is somebody supposed to know someone is dying? What does that look like? Because I think it looks like a lot of things. There's tons of people with cancer walking around doing cartwheels, but they're probably terminal. How would he know that? How? Tell me how, and I'll believe you. Just tell me. Don't argue with me. Just be like, Steph, this is how he would know, and I would read it. But tell me how. Tell me. Oh, let me put the link over here. Sorry, you guys. There's a link. That's all I want to know. This is from Brenna Love. Hey, Brenna, thank you for super chat. Says, I understand that everyone is angry about this young lady's death. We nosy bystanders are also very angry, but what we are trying to do is find all the facts that we can before we come up with our conclusion. That's right. We do not make blanketed statements and suppositions sheerly based off of our emotions. You can't. That's just be crazy. This from Tamira. What's up, Tamira? Says, I don't think anyone is saying he had a hand in her death, but many are questioning his actions or lack thereof, as well as the probability of him knowing more than he's letting on. Now, you can make those suppositions, and that's correct. You're actually quite accurate there, Tamira. But what you can't say is he should have known. What should be the case? You can't do that. Now you're getting into formal logic, right? What is the case and what should be the case and what should have been known and what is known. Those are all parts of logic, and that is how we form an argument. An argument doesn't mean two people barking back and forth. An argument means a sound statement, right? What is the case or what should have been the case, right? What is the case and what should have been the case are two different things. So you can't say he should have known she was dying. Where's the facts in that? Where are your premises before you came to that conclusion? Well, everyone knows what a dying person looks like. Who's everyone? You have to be very specific about that. That's just the way the world works, you guys. That's the way the world works. That's the way formal logic works. The reason why formal logic is key when we do our investigations is because it allows us to come up with a sound conclusion. And no one has produced anything sound against Nazir. Nobody. No one has. No one has came up with anything sound against Nazir. So yeah. Thank you, Roberts, for the super chat. I appreciate that. This is from, is it Jade? I hope I'm saying that right. Dude just want to argue. It's given barbershop hotep, but he probably sends grand rising. Stop, y'all. Please don't say that. Don't be mean. Don't. Y'all so mean. Y'all so mean. She was unresponsive, and I understand, Trevor, but they also called it physician, right? At least someone did, because they saw that she wasn't responsive. She may not have been unresponsive, but according to Nazir, she was breathing. Let me get back into this video, you guys, okay?
Mr. Bernard, thank you so much. Thank you so much for telling the world how beautiful your daughter was, for being bold and being courageous and being strong. The world see your strength through all of this. And my condolences again go out to you and your family. And the entire world is praying for you and your family. And I know that on Saturday that you all are going to send your daughter to heaven in a mighty way. And my prayer to you all is that I know that you won't ever get over this, but you'll get through it. And I pray that when the days come and the grief come, that it will come in increments, and that it won't overpower you, but that, you know, you will begin to, you know, release it, you know, and heal. And that's what I'm sending your way to you and your family. Healing power, healing energy. And again, you know, Mr. Bernard, thank you so much. You have my information. The North Carolina Beat is standing beside you. You know, any information we get, you know, you and your family will be the first to know. And I just want to thank you all so much for giving us that permission to show the world what happened to your daughter, because these people are going around lying, saying this and saying that. But thank you guys for allowing us to share that with the world, so they can see how dirty friends, so-called friends, can be. And it's not Quella's fault. Let's get that straight.
No, not at all. Not at all. She thinking she's going over there to have fun, enjoy herself.
Yeah.
Not knowing she ain't gonna even come back.
Yeah, exactly. So let's get that straight. And thank you so much, Mr. Bernard. I'll call you once I get off.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Me, your prayer.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, y'all. So, just by the way, Mr. Bernard, we talked about that he wanted to do this interview. For those who say, you know, why you got him up there, we had a conversation. Nazir Wiggins, Dejanay Jackson, Elise Hyatt, Winter Donovan, Malik Dyer, Khalil Cook. You might as well go ahead and turn yourself in, because the statement that you gave, the lie that you told, is sending you to jail.
He is something else. Now, is it Mabu? Robert says, please bring me up so I can tell you about the blogger Gerald. He has over 10 mugshots and he's the biggest criminal in North Carolina. Now, listen, I'm not here to criminal shame nobody. So that's not pertinent to this story. Now, I understand that he may have a criminal history, but I don't judge people based off their criminal histories or what they've done in the past, right? If he's not doing it now, I don't care. But I appreciate you telling me that. And also, too, St. Hudson, I also got that article. So I saw the article as well that correlates to this statement. I don't care that he has a criminal history. I don't care about that. I care about how he's conducted this interview. It was tasteless. It was poor and tasteless, to say the least. And that has nothing to do with what he did in the past. Does that make sense? Like, it's anecdotal, that article, and it's anecdotal, trying to dredge up his past in order to, like, you can't make the correlation because his past had nothing to do with Shanquella's death and him investigating it. So those two don't correlate. And also, that's not tea. To me, it's not. Personally, for me, it's not tea. I know it's salacious. I'm sure he's done some things. I'm sure he's atoned for them, but I don't know if, because those two things don't coincide, then I don't think it's important to discuss, at least not on my platform, right? Because I don't care about that. I care about how he's sharing these stories and accusing people with no factual evidence of a heinous crime. That's what I do care about. So but thank you again. This is from Karen. Karen says, I can't understand why the authorities won't investigate more thoroughly, considering that baby had a broken neck and back. They didn't do those injuries herself. And here's the thing, because it happened in, it's not that they don't want to investigate. It's because it happened in foreign soil. Even though we have a relationship with Mexico, the State Department has to wait for them to identify a few things. And that's what that Rolling Stone article had pointed out. So when the Rolling Stone reached out to the State Department said, talk to the Mexican State Department. The Mexican State Department says, we can't even touch the case because the medical examiner didn't tell us what it was. The medical examiner, instead of circling death by accident or death by violence, they just circled yes. So the Mexican State Department says, we don't even know what it is. When Rolling Stone magazine reached out to the Kabul Police Department, they said, we're waiting on the medical examiner to tell us what it is too. So Rolling Stone magazine tries to reach out to the medical examiner for a comment like, hey, have you updated her death certificate? Can't find the coroner. He out of office. So everyone's waiting for the coroner to officially rule her death either accident or violence by murder, homicide. We're waiting on the medical examiner. So everyone's waiting on the medical examiner. So it's not just us. It's not that they won't investigate it. They just have to have an official document to say that her death was through homicide. That Rolling Stone article also stated that the medical examiner just found out about the fight video. So now he has to re-look at her autopsy. He just found out about the fight video Wednesday. Because again, medical examiners use evidence to determine death. You see how that works? They don't just say, "Oh, here's somebody on my bed, on my slab. Murder." They don't do that. They say, "What happened?" They reach out to the cops. The cops found out, the Cabo Police Department found out through the US State Department that video was available and sent it to the Cabo Police Department, who in turn sent it to the medical examiner. And now they're waiting on the medical examiner to finally refinalize her autopsy. So it's not that they're not going to do anything. It's just a waiting game at this point. Okay. This is from is it Lakita? Is it Lakita says, wow, Rolling Stone is involved in this. Well, child. You know, Rolling Stone nosy. I don't know if y'all knew that, but they nosy too. This from Tori says, they already leaked the video, and I'd like to know the conversation that was had. With whom? This is Tanisha says, well, everyone know it wasn't an accident. Clearly, we can see that. So no matter how they murdered her. Yeah. This from Gorge. Gorge says, so Twitter talking about the second video. I'll keep inboxing you until I see it. Okay. We can't watch the second video here, but I'll put the link in the thing here because I don't know if you guys know this, we have a TV network, uncensored. So if we got that video, we're gonna play it on the network, and we're gonna be on the network. And if you click on that link, I'll put the link up here. I'll pin it. I forgot to pin it. And on YouTube, it's pinned, so you can click that link, and it's a countdown. Actually, I'll pull it up here so you guys can see it. Hold on. They have that video. We're watching it, and miss me, you you prayer warriors, miss me with all the rest of that, because we have to know. I have to know. I'm nosy. I got to know. You don't got to watch it. I'll describe it to you, but I got to know. But here's a countdown. We'll be there 42 minutes on Roku. If you just click the link, you can watch it from your mobile device. If you have a Roku device, download us in your Roku device. We're Nosy Bystanders TV. Download. It's free. It's a free app. Download us. We find that video. This is where you're going to be able to see it, or Twitter, and then we'll discuss it. This is from Cree. Cree says, who released the video? It was someone there in the room who released it. I think this is mine, and that's a great question, Cree. Let me tell you what my hypothesis is on that video. I think that they sent it. I think it was a Snapchat video, and I think it was sent to someone. And I think that someone leaked it. That's what I think. I think that someone leaked it. Okay. I think that someone had leaked it. That's my opinion, but I can't prove that. Or it's one of them who leaked it, but I don't think one of them would have leaked it after they found out she passed away. I think it was someone who was close to them. This is from, is it Dara? Dara Alexander says, can we go over everything so far for what you have? You mean like my timeline? My timeline? We can go over that if you like. I have my own personal timeline. And some Tori says, they clearly sent the video to an outside source, and I'd like to know what the outside source was told, if they were aware of motive or context. If I was the outside source, I would call the New York Times and do an interview. And I spilled it because the outside source knows. The outside source definitely know. The outside source knows. They definitely know, and they know a lot more, because whoever was sent that video of her fighting wanted to see that video of her fighting. That's a great statement there, Tori. This from Tawana. She says, it was sent to a group of people in North Carolina, and someone shared it before they found out she died. Ooh, child. Timeline, basically. Okay, so hold on one second. Hold on one second. Okay. Hold on one second. Okay. So here's my timeline. I think they arrived in Kabul. Obviously, they arrived in Kabul on the 28th. Had fun, whatever. They went ahead and if you're probably wondering what this countdown is, if you just joined us, this countdown is where we're going to be in 39 minutes. We're going to be streaming from our Roku channel called Nosy Bystanders TV, and I put a link in the description here. You can get it on if you're on Facebook. There's the link. You can just watch it from your smartphone. If you're on YouTube, I pinned it. It's the pinned one at the top. It's the pinned comment at the top. So it's because it's uncensored and I can say whatever I want to say. That's why I want to go over there. So I think that they arrived. We know Shanquella called her mother at in the evening and told her mother they were having tacos and cocktails, and then that was the last time her mother talked to her. I think something happened that night, not a bunch of alcohol and everyone got crazy. I think something happened, and I think it carried over from North Carolina to Mexico. A dispute, an argument, something of that nature. We then get the fight video, right? Which gives us a time frame because it happened in the morning time. If you look at that fight video, it is bright and sunny in the morning. That sun is coming up. So we know that fight happened in the morning. Now, do we know if that fight kind of gathered throughout the whole day? I don't know. I think by the time she got really messed up, they kind of let off of her. You know what I mean? Like when she was really hurt, like with her spine was really hurt and the back of her vertebrae was really hurt. I think they let up off of her and they just probably was just like, dang, we really did a number on her, but she wasn't really responsive. She wasn't dead, but she was not responsive. And then Nazir flies in. His flight lands at 12. He goes through customs and he probably gets to that villa by 12:30, 1 o'clock, ideally, right? Because that's just normal. You got to go through customs when you're going to another country. And then he sees Shanquella. Remember now, he stated she couldn't talk. She was moaning and groaning, but she wasn't talking. But she wasn't dead, but she just wasn't talking. They stated, oh, she's got alcohol poisoning. We were drinking all night, whoop-de-woo. So he said, I just tended to her, gave her like, just rubbed her back and played some music and kind of put a towel over her head and just like whatever. She probably became increasingly unresponsive to the point where she passed out or she just wasn't responding anymore. And then that's when they probably all freaked out. It was like, we have to call a doctor. The doctor comes and then calls her time of death, and then the coroner arrives. So she probably, this is my timeline. She probably died again within those 15 minutes of the doctor being called. But I think she has sustained those because we know she sustained those injuries in the morning time, and it just kind of led into the night. You know what I mean? Or led into the day. Like she was just like, she was barely hanging on. That's what I believe. She was just barely hanging on. And she did. She just was just, it was just a slow death. That's all it was. It wasn't something that was so quick, like, boom, she's gone. I don't think it was like that. I think it was just a really slow, agonizing passing. That's what it seems like, in my opinion. So when people say, oh, the fight had to happen within 15 minutes of the doctor being there. No, it didn't. We know it didn't because we can see the time of day. It's clear as day. It's the morning time. That doctor didn't arrive till the afternoon when the sun would have never been beaming right into their villa. He said, unfortunately, I agree. I think she suffered all day. I think it was an all day thing. Not the fight was all day, but the pain and the agony was just, I think it just drug out all day. Does that make sense? I think it just drug out all day. That's really what it was. He said, honestly, I think it's over a guy. I think so too. The bathroom was a made up lie. I believe it. In my personal opinion, without having the facts, I do believe the bathroom was a made up lie. I do. I think they wanted to make it look as though she was like heaving over the toilet vomiting. And she could have been. She was really beat up really bad. It could, you know, it can cause you nausea to be beat up, you know. I could believe that. This from Bree says, I don't know if Nazir was not trying to incriminate the others, but he never mentioned what they told him other than the alcohol poisoning, and that is why everyone is mad at Nazir. What had told him other than the alcohol poisoning is they're mad at him for speaking out. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Because they don't all live together. Some of them live in Charlotte. Some of them live in Connecticut. I'm sorry, Greensboro. They all live in different parts. He probably talked to them individually, like, yo, dude, what happened? And then when that fight video really came out, he probably was really asking them, like, yo, what is going on? You know what I mean? I think that's what he did. Like, oh, what's going on? And I think they all start telling him conflicting stories. And then that's when he came out, because the blogger, that Gerald guy, was all over the story. And he was like, oh, I'm about to clear my name because I had nothing to do with this. Yep. Let me get to Dara. Dara says, do we do her alcohol levels, the autopsy? Yes, she had none in her system. She had none. This from Tori. Tori says, comprehension, doesn't that sound like a question and not a statement? Comprehension? I don't know if you're talking to me or not. This from Tia. What's up, Tia? Says, men, money, jealousy, envy is usually the cause of women fights. Usually. Tady Boo says, Steph, what were you going to bring up before we found out about the live? That Rolling Stone article that I was explaining, because someone had asked, why aren't the authorities getting involved? They're just waiting on the medical examiner. And that was published today because Rolling Stone reached out because they nosy too. And they reached out to all these different departments. They're like, when are you going to launch a formal investigation? The U.S. State Department said, got to ask Mexico. Mexico said, got to ask the local police. The local police said, yeah, wait for the coroner. We're waiting on the coroner to change his findings because we just sent the coroner the fight video. That's why. So we're waiting on the coroner. So that's really, it's like tick, 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 tick. We're just waiting on the coroner to potentially change her autopsy results. So the police can give it to the Mexican State Department, and then the Mexican State Department can give it to the U.S. State Department. And when they give it to the U.S. State Department, then these people can be extradited back to Mexico and be held on trial. This is from Creole. Says, can you look at the dad's timeline as far as them finding out about her? It starts in Gerald's interview at 9:30. We'll get to that. We're going to go back. We're going to revisit that interview with Gerald and the dad, the full interview. Because remember, we jumped in it in the middle. We're going to revisit it here on this live stream. You see the timer going down? We're going to revisit it here in 32 minutes and 16 seconds. If you're on YouTube, the pinned video at the top, click the pinned video and just register. It's free. And it's because I want to talk like I want to talk. And I want to smoke my vape. Okay. That's why it's uncensored. I want to do that. I don't want to do nothing else. I want to do it all here. And I want to really get back into Gerald's video. And we're going to start at the 9:30 timeline. Let me take a screenshot of this, if you don't mind, Creole, because I want to remember where to start. And thank you. I do not trust Nat. Tell me why, Courtney. I'm calling you out. Crystal says, he said he got off his flight at 2:16 Mexico time. What's Mexico time? You mean Pacific Standard Time? He got off his plane at 12:16, which is because I'm where I live. I'm in the same time zone as Mexico time. Okay, so it's Pacific Standard Time. That's 2 hours back. You see, Crystal? It's 2 hours. That time that you're giving is 2 hours behind. And don't worry, we already did the math on it. So he got off that plane at 12:16, not 2:16. Does that make sense? And then he had to go through customs, which takes anywhere between 30 minutes and an hour. So he technically didn't arrive to that villa till roughly 1 o'clock ish. And she died around 3 o'clock ish. It's only 2 hours. And Stacy, hello, Stacy says, we don't trust him. Why do CPR if you think it's just alcohol? Because she's not breathing. CPR isn't for alcohol, Stacy. CPR is for breath. It's for air. That's what CPR is for. I don't know if you guys knew that or not. Like, even if you pass out from narcotics, if you stop breathing, that's what CPR is for. for air. It has nothing to do with alcohol. It has nothing to do with alcohol. If I drown, and someone says, why are you doing CPR? To get her some air, which restarts your heart. That's what that's for. I want to know if y'all are okay. I want to know if y'all okay. I want to know if y'all doing okay. Are y'all doing all right? Y'all doing all right? Is this case getting too much for y'all? Is it getting too much? Is it too much for you guys? Because I'm getting a little concerned. I am. I'm getting a little concerned for you guys. It's like, I think it's like, this Gerald guy has completely distorted reality so bad that people cannot conceptualize giving people CPR for air. I mean, I'm concerned. I'm concerned about everybody's state of thinking. I'm concerned about everybody's mental health at this point. And I'm not even laughing because it's not funny. I'm concerned that the misinformation that's coming out about this case has distorted the level of thinking for everyone. You have people in here trying to bend time. And now we have individuals in here who cannot understand why she would want air if she's not breathing. I'm concerned. I'm concerned. I'm concerned. I'm concerned. I'm concerned that the information superhighway is getting distorted, completely distorted, completely. This is from Stop the Violence. Says, if Nazir came and went with the lies, he's guilty. To you. To you. To you. Because one, you have to prove a lie. Now, it's the hardest thing in the world to prove. Because lie requires intent. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me that people want Nazir to, they want him to know and recognize what death looks like that. He needs to look directly at you and be like, you're dying. You guys want him to be a time traveler, to be somewhere where he can't. And now you want him to conceptualize the fact that if someone has alcohol poisoning, they don't need air if they're not breathing. And I know the scary part about it is I know half of y'all are medical in the medical field. That's the scary part, that you have let a bona fide kook spin this wild narrative on facts and information that you are really going to tell yourself if somebody has passed out and they're not breathing. Well, they had alcohol poisoning, so they don't need air. They don't need air at all. They're not breathing, but they don't need air because she has consumed alcohol. Are you kidding me? 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 It's sad. It's sad. It is sad. It is sad. It's very sad. It's very sad. It's disgusting. Like crazy. Like crazy. You said Nosy is dating Nazir. I don't know why that's funny. I'm not. I mean, listen, I'm not here to read you. I don't have the energy to. I can tell that you have a mental health disorder. I can tell that you obviously don't live in reality. Clearly, you don't live in reality. You obviously have a mental health disorder. You think that the fantasies that were created by a blogger are real. You think time travel's real. You think that this man has x-ray lenses in his eyes that he can determine if someone's dying or not. You think that alcoholism and not breathing doesn't equate to CPR and air. You obviously have issues, really weird ones. Like your brain is so distorted that you would believe a lie versus conceptualizing the truth. And it's sad. And it's not in defense of Nazir. It's in defense of the truth and facts, the things that are tangible. You're sick and you need help. And you're not going to get it here because we're not mental health care professionals. You need to get off the internet. You need to go and get some help. Period. Because your line of thinking is so distorted, I can't help you. I don't know if people think this is some sort of reality show or I don't know what it is. This is somebody died and people are out here just laying blame and judgment and don't know anything. This is weird. It's very weird, weirdo energy. It's weird. She clearly wasn't breathing, which is why he done CPR. Come on, y'all. Like literally, like what does alcoholism have to do with air? It's from Alice. Alice says this lady had blunt force trauma to the head, which led to a bleed, which then led to her being unresponsive, and then led to her dying, which led to her needing CPR. It's the fact that you have to explain that, Alice, which I find incredibly sad. I mean, thank you. I appreciate you lying it out. Thank you. I appreciate you laying it out, but you didn't have to because it's common. It's literal common sense. It's the first thing they teach. Everyone learns CPR at the Boys and Girls Club when they're like 9, even though they know we're too tiny to do it. They just teach it to you anyway. You see someone stopping to breathe, you give them CPR. It's that simple. The fact that you have to explain that to full-grown adults, and most of them in their 40s and 50s, is the sad part. That's the part that becomes even sadder. That this blogger Gerald has distorted people's thinking so much that they think that he is the arbiter of facts and truth, and he's not. He has convinced almost half of the internet that Shanquella didn't need CPR because she was quote unquote drunk. It's sad. It's sad. And I'm very happy. I appreciate you lining it out. You don't have to. I appreciate you doing that, but you shouldn't have to. It's too simple. It's too simple. It's too simple. Let me get to Margaret's comment. Margaret says, the story is pulling a weird vibe out of many people. I think it's making people want to grab at anything for it to not be real. I think so too, Margaret. I think people just want they want her to have justice so bad they're willing to get it from anywhere, even bending the laws of nature by making people and appear in places they aren't. I've never seen it. It's the wildest thing I've ever seen. I've never in my entire life seen something like that. It's the wildest thing I've ever seen. I've never seen somebody bend the laws of nature just to get someone justice. She's going to get justice. Definitely. The story is nationwide. But defying the laws of physics and nature? Come on. We're not unhinged. You would think. This is from Trevor. Trevor says, the ones that told the parents that it was alcohol poisoning should explain why they lied explain why they lied to see why the cover up story. Exactly. And you're correct. Bananas. That's right. Energy harvesting something, honey. This is from Tynesha. Tynesha says, no, we understand that she needed CPR, but if you wasn't involved, why leave your friend there that you've been friends with for 9 years? I would have stayed with my friend until I knew what was happening to her since I wasn't there. That is a philosophical question, Tynesha, that again, no one has answers to. That is exactly how philosophy works. Why would you leave your friend if she was your friend for all these years? If you're talking about the whole friend group, we know that the other ones, other than Nazir, left. We know that. We know that they left. Okay. But that is a philosophical question. Why leave? That's the only thing I don't know. I can't answer that. I don't think anyone can. The question lays in philosophy. Would you leave your dying friend on a cold metal slab? Some people say yes, some people say no. But this is not really purgative to the story. It's really not why they left. They were going to leave regardless. Do you understand what I mean? It doesn't look good, but they were going to leave regardless. But that has nothing to do with how she died. So them leaving means nothing, It's just more of a philosophical question. Like, would you leave if a tree falls in a forest, doesn't make a sound? That's what this question is. And it's a great question, but there really is no answer. There really isn't. Yes, if I were guilty, yeah. Some people say no. Some people say no. Me personally, if I had nothing to do with it and I really truly believe that my friend died of alcohol poisoning, if I could get out of work, I would stay a couple of days until her parents got there. But in hindsight, as soon as I would have called her parents, I would at least made sure they were on their way there, greeted them, probably stayed a day and then left. I wouldn't have stayed too longer than that. Does that make sense? But I wouldn't have left her there and then told her parents when I got back to the States, oh, she's not. Oh, where's she at? Oh, she's dead. I wouldn't have did that. Now that would have been ignorant, but everyone's different. How would you still alive? Did you see this clock, ma'am? I'm going to send you an invite. You can join this live so we can prepare for this one, okay? Hold on. Hold on 1 second. Come on backstage. We're preparing, me and this one here, this nosy one here. We're preparing for this live stream in 18 minutes. So I sent her an invite. Hopefully she joins us. This from Jennifer. Jennifer says, "Why would you truly really believe that if you found her in the state that he did, the fact that the others had abandoned her?" Is that a question? Yeah, they did abandon her. They definitely did abandon her. I don't see you. I don't see her here. This is from Alice. This is from Alice. Alice says, bottom line is they were in denial that they killed her and decided to blame it on the alcohol. Yeah. Has any arrest been made? No, there's actually, it's not even ruled a homicide yet. It will be, possibly, but that's a guess. If the medical examiner says it's accident, you guys, in the next coming days, if the medical examiner said it was an accident, she's not going to get justice. I want you to know that. I just need y'all to prepare for that. It's that simple. She's not going to get it because it's based off the medical examiner. If he said this was an accident. Now, the medical examiner did get that video yesterday. He got the official. Remember, you guys, there's a language barrier. He doesn't know there's a video floating around of her getting her butt handed to her. So if he sees that video, he's like, he can change his findings. Or he can say, no. It's really up to the medical examiner. This from Shannon. Shannon says, nobody, including the host, has facts. No one, including the host, have facts. Everyone is attempting to put two and two together, a story based off of the info being shared. Why debate one another until the law complete their investigation? I'm not debating anybody. Oh no! Oh, that person I sent the invite to, Double D, that is my business partner. I'm not debating her. I want her on here so we can talk. But I would never debate her. This is from Goddess Godiva says, he may have left to avoid talking to Mexican police or being held there. Yet, as soon as I reached Charlotte, I would have went immediately to the police and the feds. Me too. Kind of like that. Do you guys remember the Ashley Grayson story and the girl Olivia who Ashley Grayson tried to commission to assassinate a couple of people, and she ends up taking Ashley Grayson's money? It's the fact that she didn't go to the police. The police have to come to her, which doesn't look good for her. She should have the moment Ashley Grayson had told her, "Hey, I want you to doop 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 a doop." Girl, she should have took that money and went straight to the feds, but she didn't. She didn't. Alice said, "This is Kanika Jenkins' story all over again." It might be. Fingers crossed that the medical examiner changes his findings. Oh Lord.
What's going on? This is not Nosy Bystanders TV on Roku. This is Nosy Bystanders on YouTube. Because there's
Listen,
700 people up in here. You think you doing something?
I'm not. I'm trying to let them know. They thought I brought you up here to debate you. I brought you up here to let them know that we will be. How do I do this? How do I do here? We're gonna be here in 14 minutes. So I want them to know that because we have the interview, we have the taped interview, the full interview with Shanquella's father and this blogger named Gerald, who I want to really give my 2 cents to, because if you watched any portion of his interview with him, it's disgusting and deplorable, and we're going to watch it there. We're also going to get into the Rolling Stone article that discusses why we're waiting for the medical examiner to change the findings of her autopsy, because the medical examiner just got the fight video on Wednesday. So we're going to discuss all of that here in 14 minutes. I already pinned the link to this in YouTube, and I already shared the link here on Roku. So here on Facebook. So I just want everyone to know this is where we're going to be at in 14 minutes, so we can really talk ours.
Yeah, honey, we can really talk about the tea over there because, the way these platforms are set up, it just doesn't, it's not the same. So we
It's
just
not.
gonna go over there and make it do what it do on Nosy Bystanders TV. So make sure y'all come and join us. It's 770 people in here. So that means 770 people should be coming over to Nosy Bystanders TV on Roku so we can, talk about this. Just
And if you don't have a
transfer
Roku
right on over there.
TV, don't you worry, because here's the link. You can watch it from your smartphone. There you go.
Absolutely.
Don't ask me for anything else, you guys. This is from A Virgil. What's up? A Virgil says, "I feel like I'm glad she didn't have alcohol in her system, because if she did, then they would have more than likely deemed it an accident." You're absolutely correct. I'm glad. See, them taking their anger out on her in the morning time worked out in her favor, because she was having cocktails the night before and tacos when she talked to her mom. But the fact that she didn't have any in her system is really her saving grace. You're correct. Jazzy Old Lady says, "Gerald gives me annoying vibes." He definitely gives me something. I don't know what that something is, but he definitely gives me something.
Child.
Child.
I'm
Listen,
gonna have to agree. I'm gonna have to agree with her with that sentiment. Jazzy, I agree with you. Definitely annoying vibes.
where? Which inbox? My email inbox or Twitter? Where? Thanks,
I
Katie.
think
This is from Goddess Godiva says, I see a struggle with the alcohol poisoning story, because after she was beaten, she could have barely sipped water, let alone alcohol. Khalil knew he was lying from the gate. Yeah, he did. He absolutely did.
child. Baby, your followers be coming in the clutch, honey, because that's definitely something to think about. That's definitely something to think about. If you think about how's you gonna sip alcohol when you couldn't even sip water. And that guy definitely said that. Nazir said that she was having trouble drinking water. So I can
Mhm.
agree with that sentiment. Come through, goddess. I like you. Come follow us over
Okay.
to Nosy Bystanders TV.
This is Tika. Tika says vibes with, she's replying to someone else. This is from Miracle. Miracle says, "I wish I had a timeline. I'm about to give it to you." Ready?
Yeah.
So zoom in. Hold on one second. Hold on. Okay. Zoom in. Okay. So here's the timeline. They arrived there on October 28th. The Kiki have fun. Then the private chef arrives sometime around 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Sorry, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and cooks them tacos. Shanquella calls her mother and tells her that they're having fun. They arrive, they're eating tacos and having a couple of cocktails. I love you, the end, goodbye. Something transpired that night, which led to the fight in the morning. One of the nosy bystanders had pulled up when the sun rose in Cabo on the 29th, and it was at 6:23 a.m. We know that because if you see the fight video, the sun is glaring right into their villa. So we know it's the morning time. The fight ensues, and then roughly around 12:16 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, that is when Nazir arrives at the airport. He goes through customs. That takes about 30 minutes to an hour. So he doesn't actually arrive to the villa until 1 p.m. roughly. He sees Shanquella, but she can't talk. So everyone is telling him she has alcohol poisoning. We went really hard that night. So he's tending to her, trying to give her a little bit of water, rubbing her back, playing music, putting a towel over her head. And then 2 hours later, or roughly around 3 p.m., she stops breathing, which he states he gave her CPR. They called out the concierge. The concierge sends the doctor. The doctor called her time of death. And then the doctor had the coroner officiate her time of death. So people who keep stating she died within 15 minutes, so the fight happened within 15 minutes, it's inaccurate. She struggled from that morning time. So the fight could have happened anywhere between 6:23 a.m. and 8 a.m. So from 8 a.m. until when she died, she was just living a slow, gruesome death. That's what happened to her. That's it. There's your timeline. At least that's the working timeline, and it actually fits perfectly. So everyone else can work their own timeline. This is just mine. It's definitely not Tiffany's, but it's just mine for argument's sake. Okay. This is from Joy. Joy says alcohol poisoning does not cause a broken neck or a spine. Surely they're covering up for what they've done. Precisely. This is from Alice. Alice says alcohol was involved with the others. Liquor, courage to beat the girl up. I don't think they were drunk. It looked like the morning. They all look sober. But I could be wrong. They said to beat her up out of her sleep, which is why she was naked. She was attacked, never saw it coming. It's possible. She could have been sleeping in. Yeah, anything's possible. This is from Just Josie, says you're really ahead of the game. I watched a couple of the YouTubers on the story, and none of them are as detailed and thorough as you. I appreciate that.
Please don't give her the big head.
But it wasn't me. It wasn't me who put the timeline together. It was really you guys in fact finding, right? That's why we don't make accusations over here. We make suppositions until it works. But it was really you guys who helped put the timeline together. I'm just really good at reiterating it because I have to repeat it constantly throughout the day. So I've gotten her timeline, at least our working timeline, together. This is from Nini says, but did you account for Mexico being 2 hours behind? We did. Nazir really got to Mexico at 11, not 1. Think about it. No, we accounted for the timeline and the time difference. The only reason why I know is because me and Cabo are in the same time zone. So it makes it easy to account for the time. So I guess that's the only saving grace he has. This from Crystal. Crystal says, not that the coroner has the video. He will go back over the pictures and tests that were taken at the time of the autopsy to give more conclusive cause of death. I'm only going based off of what what Rolling Stone reported. And according to Rolling Stone, they talked to the U.S. State Department, they talked to the Mexican State Department, and they talked to the Cabo Police. And this is what they told Rolling Stone. So that's their story. And I think they're sticking to it. But thank you very much for that, Crystal. This is from Ray Bishop says, right now, Cabo is an hour ahead of PST. I'm not in PST. I'm in MST. Ray, but I appreciate that. Thank you.
Steph. Right, it's time to wrap it up. We got to go so we can get
set up. Okay, hold on. What time we got?
It's 8:53.
We got 6 minutes, you guys. Okay, so I'm going to read the last comment and then we will see you guys here. I'll post it again in the chat. We'll see you guys here. And on YouTube, it's the pinned comment at the top. We're going to see you guys over there on Roku. We're going to jump in the studio right now. So come on, Tiff, let's get to it. This is from Christina. Christina says, when did the best friend call her mom? Was that after she transitioned? Then someone else called the mom back and said there was multiple ambulances there. I don't know. I would have to go over the mother's accounts again. I think the mother only made one interview, but
and she said that she never reiterated who called her the second time. She just said that they called her and said that she was sick. So we don't know if she called her when she was expired and just told her that, or she called her when she was just, you know, out of it, and they had called the doctors after that.
Yes, that's true. All right, you guys. So I'm your host, Chief Nosy Bystander. Thank you for joining Nosy Bystanders Live. Join us here on Roku. We'll be there in 5 minutes. If you don't have a Roku TV, that's okay. There's a link in the comments here on Facebook and the pinned comment on YouTube. So we're going to be right over here, and we'll see you guys there. This is my co-host this evening, Double D Mother. If you don't know who Double D Mother is,
Blackcurate News, where I'm black and the news is always petty but accurate.
So we'll see you guys in 5 minutes, okay?
Bye.
All right, bye-bye.